back for week 2 of Astron Life Super Rugby. Stephen Hoyles, we're here to preview it all again. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me again.
Mate, we've got the Brumbies, Waratahs. Biggest game of the season so far, surely.
Oh, it is for the Australian sides, of course. Yeah, both sides had positive wins last week. The Brumbies were outstanding. Probably the best game the Brumbies have played in 2-3 seasons, I'd imagine. They'd be really happy with that. The Waratahs, glimpses of greatness, but they didn't go on with the job. So this is the first real test for both teams.
Michael Hooper, David Pocock. That's what the people come to see. They want 20,000 down there in Canberra. Surely you'd go just to see those two go head to head.
Well, on a side note, they should get 20,000, and the people of Canberra need to get out and watch their team because they've done really well the last few seasons. Crowds have been poor in Canberra, but you've got a side that's willing to play expansive style of footy. They've talked it up in the off-season. They've delivered in week 1, so get out there and watch the Brumbies play the Waratahs on Friday night. But Hooper Pocock, yeah, it's a big battle, always is, but in reality, they're not even competing for the same test jersey. We know that Michael Checker plays both of them. So it's a battle for back row versus back row. People like to make a huge, play on this Hooper Pocock, but they're very different footy players. Hooper's such an attacking player that offers so much to the Tars, and Pocock his work on the ball is fantastic. So I don't read too much into it, but the fans do, and hopefully there's plenty of them down in Canberra.
Well, you're not the only one saying that. Michael Hooper spoke this morning at their captain's run and said just that.
Like I've always answered this question, you actually don't see each other too much on the field. It's a whole team effort. When you know there's really good quality players like David is in the Brumbies setup, it's everyone's job to, put their fire out and be able to deal with them, because realistically I'll see him 2-3 times on the field. So I'm excited about what I can bring to the game, like I'm sure he'll be, and everyone else, our 15 and our bench, going to bring us home on the weekend, being hugely important.
Wycliffe Palu's in on the bench.
Yeah, Cliffy, they rested him throughout the trials, nursing some niggles, but to have the big fella back, he provides a lot of stuff behind the scenes that people don't see. So obviously what we do get to see is how confronting he is and how much he can change a game with a big run or a big hit, but he's the spiritual leader of the Tars, has been for a long time. So him being back in a 6 forwards on an 8-man bench. Yep. Reece Robinson drops out, doesn't get to play at his former home ground as a Canberra Raider. It's a shame for Reece. He didn't get on the weekend.
He didn't.
His trial form was apparently very good, and yet to see him play for the Tars.
Well, Rory Arnold is out for the Brumbies, Blake Enever in, and Scott Sio is back in the starting side with Alan Alatoa dropping out to the bench. What do you make of the Brumbies leading into this one? They were simply superb against the Canes.
Yeah, they were dynamic in everything they did, whether they were setting up mauls or short plays around the front of the lineouts. Everything they did was just so sharp, and the depth to bring in Blake Enever for Rory Arnold to be injured, they've got so many good second rows down in Canberra. The fact that he didn't make the squad last week, he's played a fair bit of Super Rugby. They've got depth in every key position. That's why they're everyone's hot favourite this year. And Scotty Sio to swap him with Alan Alatoa, well, that just shows again how much depth they've got. Alan Alatoa re-signed for 3 more years, so plenty of good things happening in Canberra. And
Scott Sio, of course, re-signing with Australian Rugby and the Brumbies for 3 more years as well.
Just really happy with Australian Rugby and how we went last year, and I just really wanted to be a part of it. And anytime you can be here for a bit longer than you anticipated, it's great. And they've shown a lot of faith in me, and it comes down to me being able to repay that faith over the next 3 years. And I believe in my ability that I can. And it's really going to come down to whether they see that as well. But I guess it's always a personal preference thing too. I'm a very big family man, and this leaves me here for the next 3 years to be close to family, and then for them to enjoy watching me play rugby in Australia.
Well, a huge game in Canberra. If you're around GIO Stadium, get down and get amongst it. Otherwise, follow on all of Rugby.com.au's social media channels, Facebook, Twitter. You're all over it, Horsey, aren't you?
All that stuff, love it.
Well, look forward to catching up with you after this one.